Call to order this special meeting of the City of St. Pete Beach. It is Monday, December 18th at 2 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, if you'll please do the roll call.
Vice Mayor Grill.
Here.
Commissioner Brzezowski.
Here.
Commissioner Marone.
Here.
Commissioner Grouse.
Here.
Mayor Petrilla.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, we are here to discuss the potential or the resignation of one, maybe two or more of our commissioners. And City Attorney, I think you may have a report for us on what the next step should be.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. This came up at your last meeting, and you asked myself and others here to research all possible issues so that we can go into this fully informed. So I want to take a minute just to quickly tell you some of the factual things that we know about Form 6, which is really the issue here. The City Clerk Amber, Wayne, City Manager, Matthew, Assistant City Attorney, myself, all put a lot of work into this, looking into it. I could tell you that Form 6, which is the form that is going to now be applicable to mayors and local elected officials, if you don't want to be subject to that Form 6, you have to resign on or before December 30th. On or before December 30th, not 31st, but on or before December 30th. A couple of things that we have done in the meantime, we've spoken to the Commission on Ethics several times. We've spoken with the Supervisor of Elections Office a couple of times. I've reached out to folks that I know at the League of Cities, also the Florida Association of Counties, and we've communicated with the city's lobbyists as well. And we have also reached out to the Senate President's office to speak with her about this issue, specifically an issue regarding some type of grandfathering for individuals that were elected under Form 1, were not elected under Form 6, and to kind of see if there's any kind of movement or discussion about that. Now, of course, nothing's going to happen between now and when this law goes into effect on the 1st, but forms aren't due until July 1st. Things can happen. Our lobbyist did say that he'd be happy to speak with members of the delegation here locally. I think that one thing that will be interesting is that after the first of the year, how many other scenarios like this around the state of Florida are happening? We know that we've already had resignations in the last month, and there could be a whole bunch more. So I think it is a compelling discussion to have with the lawmakers about individuals who I think fairly should be grandfathered in, maybe under the old rule, because that's not what they signed up for. And if that were the case, if that were in the law, then we wouldn't be here with such a problem, with such a situation at the very end of the year, okay? So we also, from the Supervisor of Elections, we know that they will not hold a special election for us, that the next election will be August, correct, Amber? They simply cannot just have an election for a special election for our municipality. We can obviously, I don't recommend it, but we can spend money going to the vendors who run the electronic ballot box machines. And there are state laws that are a lot more complicated now about the election process than when our charter was originally written. The reason I bring up our charter is because, there is a section in the charter that talks about filling vacancies. Now, one such section is under 3.06, subparagraph D, extraordinary vacancies. Should 2 or more vacancies occur simultaneously on the commission, the remaining members within 15 days shall call a special election to fill the vacant commission positions, as opposed to subsection C1, which talks about the remaining commissioners appointing member, to fill that. So because the supervisor of election has said we cannot have a special, they will not facilitate a special election for us. I think that language where it says shall call a special election to fill the vacant commission, I think that meant that, not to leave a minority of commissioners to appoint the majority of commissioners. But it's just a impracticality, impossibility to have a special election before August. So I think we are looking at a situation where we have to find a method for the remaining commissioners to appoint the vacancies. So there has to be a vacancy before the appointments happen, because it says 2 or more vacancies occur simultaneously. I see that as at the same time on the same date. So I think that if we know that Vice Mayor, you have said that you want to resign. You mentioned the 31st, so I imagine you want to amend your date. So I think that one of the things that we want to ascertain here today is, one, we want to reset that date so that you're not affected by it, because if your resignation's on the 31st, then you are affected by Form 6, so we probably want to pick a different date. But I want to stagger, if anyone else is thinking about it, I think this is the time that we need to talk about it and say, okay, well, when is that date gonna happen, so that we don't have simultaneous resignations, and within the next 2 weeks, we'll have to schedule special meetings to do the vacancy filling. Now, I will tell you that, so to call a meeting of the commission, you need 3 commissioners to have a quorum. At that time, business can be conducted on a vote of 2 to 1. So it's the majority of the commissioners present, okay? It's not the majority of the commissioners' seats. So I want you to be clear about that. However, understand that there are some circumstances, for example, city manager, to hire a city manager, which we're in the process of doing recruitment and so forth and so on. It's not imminent, but it's something for you to know about. Requires a supermajority. You need 4 votes to hire a city manager, okay? With regard to that, I also want you to know that Treasure Island's got a city manager that's resigning, and I think also Tarpon Springs, so there's gonna be, some competition there. I feel like the city's got a lot to offer too, so, that's something to think about. I don't foresee this issue getting as far as the budget time, but once we get to the budget, there are some provisions in the law that require, more than just a simple majority. But the other thing that we have one of the things, well, with that, I just want to leave it with that. And we know that we have elections coming up in March for District 1 and District 3. There are 2 people on the ballot in District 1. There's only 1 person on the ballot in District 3, and that seems to be obvious. So with that, I'm open to answering any questions. Again, this has been a team effort and a very fast-paced effort to try to get as much information as possible to you. I've provided you all with examples you can go online and download what other people have filed, so you can see the variety of ways that people have filed these with the Commission on Ethics. One other idea that I had that I would like to have considered is that given the fact that Form 6 is now going to be the form used going forward, and it is new, and what's being sent out is a video, which I think is slightly more terrifying than what I saw was being filed, but nevertheless, the law is the law, and I've read the law, and it might be worth looking into. Do we hire someone like an accountant or a special attorney trained in this area to assist with just filling out these forms through the first of the year, to assist myself and the clerk to make sure that our officials here are comfortable with filing and have that. So that's not something that has to be decided today, but it was an idea that I had. Since this is a change, it's important, something to think about. But I think we should know more, as we start talking to elected officials. We should know more after the first of the year about how prevalent this scenario is playing out throughout the state. So that's where we are at this point. So I think that we need to just open it up for questions, and then I think we need to find out who else, if any, other than the vice mayor, is considering this decision, so that we know how many meetings we have to set up and how many seats we have to deal with.
Vice Mayor, are you still of the mind to resign?
Absolutely. I appreciate, and I spoke with the city attorney, I appreciate the work and the information. I had done my own research. If anything, what was sent only reinforced my view on the disclosures required. I don't think it has, I know the Commission on Ethics and some people are hung up on the physical process. I've never been hung up on the physical process, maybe because I have a financial background, and anybody who does their own taxes and or watches their own finances, it's really not that difficult to pull the information together. It's tedious. Okay, work is work. So I don't think, so no, the short answer is no. I will change what I had mentioned in the last meeting, and yes, my resignation will be effective no later than December 30th. I'll work with, certainly with the commission and the rest of the city staff to make sure that we can, I'm around to help work through this process as smooth as we can. And it's really unfortunate. I don't think there should have been a surprise. At the state level, I'm extremely, for people to say that they're surprised it just suits an agenda. This has been in the papers, this has been discussed for many, many months. And I've discussed it here, and I know, certainly those of us sitting up here have been familiar with this now for some time. So for the state to say that it's surprising to them, I find that surprising. The Florida League of Cities has estimated, so we went to the FLC conference was the summertime, August, and they, at that time, were talking 30 to 40% across the state. That was their estimate. Of course, in 2 weeks' time, we'll get a better view of that. So nobody should be surprised. I was a little dismayed And I know I'm giving a long answer to what was you're looking for a binary, but I only get the microphone for a little bit longer, so. No, I forgot. I see you told a joke and I forgot what I was going to say. But I was dismayed to see the way it went and the reinforcement. I do think that, and as I've said before, that this is an attack on home rule, and it pulls away the ability to for local municipalities to be in charge of their own future. It certainly, and we'll talk about how our next steps, I should say, in the move forward process. I've talked to some people, and as soon as we get to Form 6, no, it becomes a very binary discussion. I am not going to do that form. So, anyway, my short answer, Mr. Mayor, to your question is no, I haven't reconsidered, and I will amend it December 30th, and I'll work through the exact date. I have not supplied a letter to the clerk yet.
Okay.
Mayor, I have a couple of comments and a couple of thoughts as to how we can proceed here.
Do you mind if we just answer the city attorney's question, whether any other commissioners are...
Well, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
That's where I'm going. So, Commissioner Grill is correct. The three of us attended Florida League of Cities. That was one of the seminars. I don't think this is a new issue. The only thing that's kind of new for me is that I know the way I was thinking, but I'm not sure the way all of you were thinking, and we didn't talk about it individually. So when it came up 6 days ago, maybe I was a little bit surprised, but I wasn't shocked about any of this. And I respect, each and every one of your positions, because I think it's all individual as to whether you think it's good or bad or indifferent. It was kind of interesting as I talked to different elected officials at the conference. I talked with a lot of them. This was a big issue going on. Some didn't seem bothered by it. Others did. So for me personally, first thing I'm going to do is talk with my wife, because we share all our finances. We don't separate anything out. So now all of a sudden, she didn't run for office. She appreciates what I do, but why should she have all of her finances out in the public? I mean, it makes no sense. So she wasn't really happy about that. And then on a corporate level, I'm the president of my corporation, and we have different corporate rules. And this directly conflicts with corporate rules. So I don't really have a choice. This is one of those things that's just taken out of my hands. Of course, I was thinking, when's the right time? Was there maybe some way, it was a magical way this was going to get changed? As time went on, that became unclear. Then on Tuesday, I was purposely quiet because after two of you announced it, three of us take down the government. I mean, when there are only two sitting up here, you can't do anything. Yep. And I suppose then the governor's got to step in. So I was purposely quiet. I've obviously been talking with our city attorney along the way. And so my mind goes right into, okay, how do we solve this thing? So I'm probably in the most unique position, I think, up here because, as you know, I decided not to run for election. We know who's going to be sitting in this seat. Betty Nikki is sitting right in the audience, so I've talked with her. By the way, maybe I'll just say this kind of an aside. Some people have been asking me why didn't I run that. I've actually was thinking about not running 2 years ago, although I love doing this, and I feel like I could do it for a lifetime. This point in time where it's kind of good to step away. And back in 2008, after I did it for 14 years, I stepped away and felt good. I was away for 8 years, although I was on city boards, and loved it so much. I thought, wow, 8 years went by quickly, and so I thought I'd do it again. And now another 8 years have gone by, but Betty knows because I didn't really talk to too many people about this. But 2 years ago, I asked her if she was ready to run. She said she wasn't ready to run at that time. I said, well, maybe would you be willing to do it at some point in time? And she said, yeah, I'll be thinking about it. So, I've always really respected her, got to work closely with her, as president of Donstar Property Owners Corporation. And, she's smart, she's dedicated, she's hardworking. She's the kind of person I think, good to have people like that without any hidden agenda. So I talked to Betty on Friday, I think it was, and I asked her if she would be so kind as to be willing to, if I stepped down, to be appointed early. And she said she would. So I thought, okay, maybe here's a solution to start the process, because as city attorney said, we can't all
we shouldn't all do this simultaneously, because that would really cripple us. So we have a way of solving this. And for me, not that I want to, but I'll resign effective today. So if you see it fit, so it's not up to me at this point in time, but if the four of you would consider appointing Betty, she could step in immediately, then one at a time, this could be solved. So that's what I'm proposing for today. I don't know if I need to just say it and step down, or...
Well, let's just wait and hear how we do this, but I also want you to understand that, so in order to, so in situations like this, that would be one vacancy. The remainder of the commissioners would then, there would have to be a vacancy in order to pick the successor. And then in order to conduct business, the new commissioner only needs to take the oath of office from the city clerk. It doesn't have to be done at a meeting. It's done ceremonially at meetings for that purpose, so that the community can see who's being put into office. But legally, it just requires, if you were to select someone, that has to be done at a meeting. But for that person that's been selected and accepts the selection, then they simply need to coordinate with the clerk and take the oath of office and go from there. Is that correct, Amber? Okay.
Is that, and then I'm just thinking in terms of how much time we have left.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that can be done today?
Well, if
I mean, we'll finish the discussion, but
Yeah.
just so that we,
hypothetically, if
Yep.
Commissioner Frslowski says, I resign effective immediately, leaves the dais, and the Commissioner-elect, Riznicki, is here, and she says she wants the job, and you four vote to put her in place, she can take the oath right now,
And that's what I'm prepared.
or afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Right, okay, she'd have to type
But
it.
I'd like to make it clear, that's what I'm prepared to do in the best interest of the city, because I think, we're all here because we love the city, we want to do the right thing. And, I mean, that's what I've been thinking about.
Okay.
And that's what I've talked to the city attorney about doing, because we have to move quickly. I mean, this is just one step. And, then it's, what's the next step?
So then that secures, at least we know 2 seats for sure. And then we know we also have another, Commissioner Grouse, we also know that there are 2 candidates on the ballot for March. And I guess, not to put you on the hot seat, but whatever your thoughts and feelings are on that, because then that gives us, because finding people to fill seats is difficult, but like when you have someone that's on the ballot, it makes it infinitely easier, because there are people on the ballot that are going to take office in March.
Right.
What,
I was just wondering if we would need to take care of Ward first. Or-
and I'm sorry, is Commissioner Grouse, are you also?
I came to this meeting to listen to what the city attorney said and everybody else. I had not made a decision yet, so
Okay. Okay.
I was waiting.
I just didn't know
Yeah.
if that was,
Well, we know, here's one thing we know for sure. We know Commissioner Frslowski is wanting to resign. We know Betty's here. If Betty wants to say, or I'm sorry, Commissioner-elect Riznicki, if she's willing to step in now, we could do that. You could do that now, and then know that you have, once the oath is administered later, that you have those, you have that taken care of.
Okay, but I think we need
Commissioner Marone.
to plan the whole thing out.
Yes.
I mean, we can move in piecemeal, but let's
Okay.
get the whole thing here on the record. What's happening, what's going down. I have not changed my position from last Tuesday night when I announced my concerns about Form 6 and that I was not willing to fill out Form 6, but at least based on the knowledge I had with regards to the timeframes that was due and what the sanctions would be, and then deferred to our city attorney to provide whatever additional information that you could provide us, the city clerk with the Commission on Ethics. Everything I've heard supports exactly what I thought last Tuesday night, what's been articulated by Vice Mayor Grill, both last Tuesday night and today. I have not changed my position. I'm not filling out Form 6. And I have talked to the city attorney about this. I've reached out to several people that I thought in my district would be good candidates to take my place. Both of those candidates I identified for the city attorney. Both of those candidates, at least one for sure, has told me because of Form 6, that person will not agree to be a candidate for consideration by the remaining board members. The other potential candidate is considering it, but has suggested that it's likely it's a no because of Form 6. So I don't have anybody that I could recommend to fill my spot. But I'm willing to not resign until we can reconcile our strategy and how we're going to move forward and make sure that we have as close to a full commission as possible before 12/31.
So, City Attorney, if I remember correctly, I mean, and for those who don't know, I came on the commission through a similar process, although it was only one resignation. We went through a public hearing, some sort of public hearing process where myself and another person who was interested in the role came a meeting such as this, and basically were interviewed in public by the commission, and then a decision was made for the interim appointment until such time as it was a similar process. I think it was January, too late for an election, so the first election that could be was in August of that year. So just to put everything on the table, for Commissioner Marone's point, I would think and I know time is tight, but we need to have a form of government, and I think we all agree. Yeah, thank goodness we didn't have to come together for any sort of emergency actions over the weekend or the last couple of days, but we could have. So we need to make sure that the city's got a functioning form of government to keep the city running. And I'd be a proponent to say that we ought to do that here and not have anybody, if we don't get our act together, have anybody outside of our city come in and at the county or state level to do it for us. To Commissioner Frozlowski's point, let's figure out and make this work. But I would, and I know time is tight, but I'd like us also to, if we do have 2, potentially 3, although the third position we have candidates, some sort of public vetting to make sure. It's important to have roles filled, but it's also important, I think the onus is on us to make sure we have the right people as best we can. And again, it's a compressed timeline, the right people in the roles to keep the city functioning.
Okay. What we did was we made an announcement and we requested letters of interest from anybody, and they have to be from the district to be appointed to that chair. It can't be citywide. And so we did letters of interest, and then, as you said, we had that discussion at a public meeting, and kind of interview type process, and that's how that selection happened. Obviously, we have a very short turnaround. We have the ability to have meetings this week. Next week is Christmas, so we do have the ability to have meetings next week. It just depends on travel plans and the ability to get a quorum. So you absolutely need to have 3 people present to have a quorum.
I'm here through the end of the year.
I'm out of the country all of next week.
All of next week, okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm tied up the end of this week. Next week's good.
I'm here.
You're here. So,
Wow. That's getting close.
This week?
Yeah.
So this week we
so
can,
So maybe the goal ought to be to make sure that we have a functioning government after this, 3 people.
Yeah.
3 seats. Because it sounds like the schedules are so tight. At a minimum, at an absolute minimum, we need to have 3 people seated legally for the city by December 31st, so that come next year, we can reconvene and get the process started if we don't have time to solicit.
Can we solicit today, make a solicitation for those folks who would be interested in the representative districts?
Mm-hmm. I see no reason why not, why you can't make that announcement and go ahead and set up the procedure for taking in letters of interest for the various districts which are going to be vacated. And it sounds like it's going to be all of them, except for the ones, it'll be 2 of them for sure.
And that changes what you have to do if you have 2 or more.
Right, but we're not going to, the resignation, the vacancy isn't going to occur simultaneously.
Okay.
So I'm talking about the announcement, so when it would start is different, but we need to stagger we need to stagger the resignations so that by the 30th, it's all, you can sign, you could say, I'm resigning. I don't want everyone to do it here, but basically your resignations need to be effective at different times. Like, for example, if we took care of District 3 today, then that's done. Then we figure out how do we stagger the other districts.
would it be impossible
Have
to,
another special meeting later this week.
Yeah, we can have a meeting this week. Yeah.
that's what I was going to say, would it be impossible to get letters, the request publicized today, and then have a special session on Thursday
Yeah.
or Friday?
Friday
And-
would be the day I can do it.
And then that way we could have however many districts we end up having, and then we can have those individuals here, they can come speak, we can interview them, and then we can set it up in a staggered way.
Before,
We don't end up with 2 vacancies at the same time. Yes, sir.
no, it's just before we put a plan in place, I don't want to put Commissioner-elect Ruznicki on the spot, but are we sure that she's ready to step in this afternoon or tomorrow morning? And since she's here, maybe we could ask her.
Would you be available to come tell us real quick? Just so we have you in the microphone and on the record.
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon. I know how you all feel. I respect it. I am willing to fill out the form, just so I have that on the record. My issue, and I did speak to Commissioner Fryslowski as well as the city attorney, because I wanted to give him a heads up. I still need secondary employment approval from my job in order to take this position. Most people don't know this. Only people, I've spoken to Amber and the whole process, and it's been taking a long time because this position is a public position, and I work for education for some reason. It's an unknown. And up to the very moment I walked into the door, I was waiting for a response, and that's what they told me. It still has not been approved. In my mind, I thought I had plenty of time till March to get all this straightened out, but I know it's throwing a wrench, but I do not want to say yes today and risk my employment because of that. So I did speak with my supervisor on that before coming in. So I just need to be able to tell you all, when I spoke to Mr. Fryslowski, Commissioner Fryslowski on Friday, I was between planes, okay? So I just landed yesterday, landed in a flood, been dealing with, car issues and a lot of other things going on, as we all know, in the city. So I needed to be able to tell you all that before you start making moves.
Do you think it'd be possible to find out by Friday?
I did talk to her today. I can keep calling is all I can say.
Right.
I am off this week, so it is possible to know. So, I'll keep communicating, with Commissioner and with the city attorney. As soon as I know, I can tell you. So
Right.
I will be willing to when I get the approval.
Of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. What I think, all right, so I think one of the things we may need to do is take a quick 5-minute recess so that Amber and the city manager and I and Matthew, we can look at our calendars and try to like map this out a little bit. And if we could do that, that would be helpful.
Commissioner Grill, you mentioned this week was tied up for you?
Correct. I could be available Thursday until about 11 a.m. Rest of Thursday, Friday, I'm out of pocket, and then from Saturday, crack of dawn forward, I'm available for the rest of the year.
Are you available via Zoom on Friday?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, these were prior commitments, and I just
I understand.
can't break it.
All right.
If, just so we can work it out, so we don't need Commissioner Grill necessarily for him to resign to be present. If on Friday, Commissioner Frizlowski resigns, if Mrs. Reznicki says, I am available, can the other 3 commissioners, we would have a quorum,
Mm-hmm.
make that appointment at that time?
Yes.
I'm just trying to see if we can make it work without, if we wait till next week, if something happens between now and next week, then it really eliminates all of our options. So if we have a meeting this week, at least there's a possibility for another emergency meeting next week.
Okay.
And I will just say that, for the record, that I'd like to be part of this process.
Of course.
As best
Would
I can.
everyone be available Thursday for a special meeting?
Not unless it's at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 to 8:45, something like that.
Thursday morning?
Yeah, have to be super early.
Is that available?
I could do that early.
So that's a possibility, yeah.
So-
I think,
Okay.
Or earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Whatever it takes at this point.
Yep.
yes.
Yeah. All right, let's take a 5-minute recess. We'll reconvene at 2:45. Second session.
Mayor, thank you. First of all, we definitely understand Commissioner-elect Brzezinski's situation, and we can't, that kind of threw a little bit of a issue into it. We think that we should have this meeting on Thursday morning, 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that, to deal with. Hopefully, she'll have an answer by then. But I also want, we have new information now from Commissioner Grouse, so.
Just because I think it's going to be in the best interest of the city, I am going to resign.
Okay.
I will not fill out Form 6.
Okay. So what we now know that we're dealing with is 4 districts are in play, so to speak. Not so much District 3, but it's just a matter of timing on her employment approval. So what we're gonna suggest is, again, have the meeting on Thursday. One way or the other, we can deal with District 1 or District 3. But I think we need to go ahead and, number one, just announce and do whatever we can on our website and other ways to have folks either send in letters of interest or emails of interest or show up at the meeting or something on Thursday. So if we have to deal with District 1 at that time, we could deal with District 1 or District 3, one or the other. And that'll be set. And then we set meetings for next week. That's all we could do.
But if we could solve districts 3 and 1 with the mayor staying, that would at least stabilize our government.
Yes.
So that's the most important thing we have to do.
Yeah.
We can do both those Thursday possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And then the other issue, just to be clear, is that districts 2 and 3, whoever serves, has to be willing to serve till August.
August, that's right.
2 and 4.
I mean, 2 and 4, I'm sorry.
Right. So, yeah.
So if we can start at 8, because I'm gonna need to be out by 9,
Okay.
and we get right to business.
I agree. I was going to ask that question, because I've got something scheduled at 9:30 that I probably could reschedule if I had to, but
I'll just throw it out there. You want to start earlier?
I can start earlier.
I mean, I know it's early. Yeah.
That's fine by me.
that's okay with me. What are we talking about, 7:30?
7:30?
I'm here at
7:30. 7:30 if we have potential candidates, obviously,
Just to give us
yeah,
room, even if we don't, but just
Yeah.
something comes up or. we need-
7:30, I would.
Is there a reason we're not discussing 2 and 4? You just mentioned 3 and 1 for Thursday.
The reason I'm saying that is that we know that we have 2 candidates on the ballot. I guess we'll also take in letters of interest if somebody wants to serve. So you can't, if it's your district, you have to vacate it. You won't be part of that decision-making process. The remaining commissioners will. As far as selecting somebody for District 2 and District 3, you can't really select anyone until there's a vacancy. So there has to be a vacancy to fill the vacancy. So you can't prematurely select somebody with the knowledge. I mean, it's tricky. Like if someone said, like if Vice Mayor said, well, I'm resigning effective 12/30. You can't take that as a vacancy because he's not vacant. So you can't make the appointment proactively. So in other words, you can't vote on Thursday for a vacancy that's happening on the 30th.
Here's the thing, if we know that we have a level of interest by Thursday, it's gonna be easier for us to plan our vacancies. So that's what I was suggesting, is that we solicit interest, and folks can write letters or letter emails to the city clerk, who can announce on Thursday morning who has responded and who has interest for the particular districts. So we know whether or not, number one, there is interest in potential vacancies other than 3, and we know that there's interest from 2 candidates in District 1. So at least once we know that there's interest right now, I don't know if there's any interest in District 4. But if we can know that there's interest by Thursday, regardless of whether that person gets selected, then at least we know how to organize the vacancies and appointments.
Okay. And they have to be qualified as well. We have to make sure that they meet the qualifications, which is 6 months residency, 1 year residency in the district. And so, I mean, they're gonna have to demonstrate that. So whatever we put out there, as far as like soliciting interest, it has to cite that.
I have a letter.
Okay.
So, just on procedurally though, for District 1, the person would only have to serve until March when we have the election.
That's correct, unless you pick one of the 2 candidates that are on the ballot for March, then they would serve to March, and then, you know, there would be an election, and whoever wins that election would serve.
Understood. And then we're assuming, and as we should, that Commissioner-elect Ruznicki sorts out what she needs to sort out in the next few days.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll have to go to a similar process for District 3 if she's not able to step up before December 30th.
Correct.
And that's why I think that
You try to
the messaging from the clerk needs to include District 3 in the event that, you know, Debbie may never, prior to December 31st, know, because she's at the mercy of those who are telling her. She's waiting for that word. So I think it wouldn't hurt to include District 3 and those folks who have interest and meet the following requirements.
Although it's interesting for District 3, we know that Commissioner-elect Ruznicki was the only one to come forward. Now with the extra hurdle of Form 6, let's see, but I'm not optimistic, unfortunately. But okay, that's what we need to do.
Mayor, if we have to, the meetings that take place next, you're out of town, it's my understanding you're traveling, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, as long as we have a quorum here, I don't have an objection of you attending virtually, if you can.
Attending or just attending and voting?
No, yeah, attending and participating and voting.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm able to do that.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that the city clerk is clear on what we're tasking.
Yeah, I already had it written down to do D1 through D4 qualifications. I would prefer to have a resume. You have to be a voting person that is registered to vote in Pinellas County and live in the district for at least 1 year from. I'm using the November qualifications. That's what I did when we did for District 2 with Mark Rowe in January of 2021. I went back to the qualification date, which that person would have qualified for, so I'm going to use the November date.
Excellent.
Matthew, did you have something?
Well, I was going to confirm dates, but I think just the message to people watching, District 1, 2, 3, and 4, what we discussed is having the letters of interest period from now until the 26th of December, okay? With the understanding that the sooner the better, because decisions may be made before the 26th, which will render your letter of interest inapplicable. All right, so if you're interested, send them in now, but we got to keep it open at least for, I would say, a week with the holiday to allow people to know that they can supply past Thursday in case we need to continue filling seats. And then I think everyone needs to look at their calendar for the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th for potential special meetings.
But we need to make it clear, and I think you said it could be before, because there may be appointments made this Thursday.
Correct. So the sooner the better. However, the letters of interest period, we will take them up until the 26th. But know, if you're watching, that those roles and districts may be filled prior to that date. So the sooner you issue your letters of interest and resume, and provide your availability for in-person interviews or even Zoom, if Andrew's okay with that, the better.
If I may ask, Assistant City Attorney, why would we fill a position before the 26th? You know, if I'm someone who's applying, I'll work on it, but wait a minute, you already decided, but I didn't have a chance to submit. What happened?
For example, if District 3, if someone applies for District 3, but Betty on Thursday says that she can go, then District 3 is appointed, potentially.
Why don't we leave the qualification period open until, let's say, end of business on Wednesday? If we then don't have anyone that's submitted a letter of interest, and there's an empty district, then we can reopen it again to the 26th or some other date. I think, to Commissioner Grill's point, I think it gets confusing if we say you have until the 26th, but we make a decision in 2 days from now. So it probably makes more sense to just say end of business on Wednesday. We'll look at it on Thursday morning. If we end up with no one applying for District 4, for example, then we'll reopen District 4 until next week.
Good idea.
Do you all want to look at your calendars for next?
Yeah, I can make myself available 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th.
I'm available on the 26th.
I can be available that week. Maybe we start a little later if we go for 26th. Start a little later in the day.
Yeah, if we do 26, then at least gives us an opportunity. For some reason, we need to have one more meeting
Okay.
on the 28th or 29th. At least we'll have that opportunity.
Yeah, maybe the afternoon or something.
Thread the needle.
I'm available.
Do we want to set a time for the 26th then?
Yes. I think I heard the afternoon is better, right?
Just coming off the holiday might give people, just thinking. 25 might be might want to step
Now,
in.
if we have people that have submitted letters of interest by Wednesday, do we then want to invite those people on Thursday morning so we can have those conversations with them, since all 5 of us will be here?
I think that they should try to be here.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I think we would want them, we want to have some sort of interview process.
Yep.
And do we need, is it technically a public hearing? Public has the opportunity to ask,
it is a public hearing, yeah.
so then, do we have a time for notice?
For Thursday, yeah, we could call them, yeah, we have time to call a meeting for Thursday.
Okay, just
Yeah.
so the public knows they have the opportunity
Yep.
for Q&A or for a question as we had in the past, and I think it's good if they're here so we can have, of course.
Okay. So do you want to take any public comment today at all?
Did we establish a time for Tuesday, the 26th?
Yeah, do we have a time for Thursday?
Tuesday.
I mean, Tuesday.
26 in the afternoon, what time is good for you, gentlemen?
Anytime for me.
Anytime.
Do anything.
I can do the whole day. I mean, I've got the whole day.
2 p.m., fine?
2 p.m.?
2 p.m.
And if you plan to hold a meeting on the, I would need to advertise now for the 27th, or we can talk about it Thursday, but if we meet on the 26th and you determine that you'd need another meeting, I cannot hold a meeting on the 27th. We have to have at least 24 hours of notification. So
But we could do the 28th or 29th.
Well, we could go ahead and advertise them now.
yeah,
and then
that's what I
cancel.
was gonna do, was advertise all of them.
I would do that just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
I can do the
That's good.
29th, not the 28th, unless it's another 7:30 in the morning.
What about the 27th?
27th is the same thing, I'd have to do it early in the morning.
So
I think, Yeah, if we advertise it, we need a time, right?
It's a Friday.
Um,
Or we could do,
And,
And
and
do really early, 7:30 in one of those other 2 days.
And just, if we don't get it done, then we still do technically have the weekend. Well, we have the 30th. Well, 31st, if
We have the
necessary.
29th and the 30th. So 29th would still be 24 hours notice, 48 hours notice. If we have a meeting at 7 a.m. on the 27th, we can schedule any meeting after, let's say, 9 p.m. on the 29th, 9 a.m. on the 29th.
No, I just think we just do what we got to do to make it work.
Yep.
So what days are we, can we just go back over the 26th?
26 at 2 o'clock,
Right?
and then what other day did we pick?
27th or 28th would have to be 7:30 in the
Yeah,
morning.
morning again, and I can do all day on the 29th.
29th any day.
May I just make a point? Thank you. I think we should schedule a meeting every day because the person resigning is not involved in the interview process of the person being appointed. So for example, if all of you are available on the 27th and we have 3 people interested in District 4, then the 27th is when you approve the commissioner for District 4 because Commissioner Morone can't be here anyways. And he would make his resignation effective that date.
Good point.
Okay with that. Good, we could always cancel them if we don't need them. So on the 27th, we're talking about 7:30 start?
Let's do all of them in 7, the 20, except for the 26th, but the 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Well, 29th was any time, I think.
Oh, it's
Just do them all.
it's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think people want to get on with that.
just make them all in the morning, and if we need to cancel them, we will.
7:30.
7:30?
On the 29th also?
Let's
Yep.
just run the whole.
27th,
the whole
28th, and
week.
29th, all 3 of those.
And
So 2 p.m. on the 26th, 7:30 a.m. on 27, 28, 29.
And 21st. And 21st.
Thursday at 7 p.m.
Thursday, it's Thursday.
Yeah,
We're meeting for sure Thursday.
Yep.
7:30.
7:30.
Yeah. Oh, where'd that come from?
So I was thinking I was only going to miss out on 5 meetings, so just make them up between now and the end of the year.
It's going to be 5:30 where I'm at.
I don't know if we made this clear, but if you're not elected and you're just appointed, you still have to do a Form 6. So just anybody who does apply will be required to do a Form 6 and/or a Form 6F. So I want everyone to know that when you are applying, you will be doing a Form 6.
For the elected official
If they-
position,
if
but
they
not,
get
When you
selected.
appoint, let's say it was me, I was applying for your
Right.
seat, but I only wanted to serve, and I didn't want to run for the election in August. So I sit until August. When I exit, I'll have to do a 6F.
I was thinking that might need
So I
to be
just want to make that
clear.
very clear.
I think we need to make that clear when
Yeah,
we're
I'm going to put
putting
it, I
this
put it
out,
on the
that they have to
notice.
fill out Form
You
6.
will be required
But-
to complete a Form 6.
But just to clarify, board members, though, our appointees do not have to do that. I just want to make sure the board members know that, so it doesn't domino to board members too.
Yeah, board members know.
Yeah.
And for the board members that are watching, I have not heard any discussion to bring it down to the board level at this time. But who knows what the future may hold? Unless, city attorney, you've heard something different.
No, I have not.
That's good.
I think they've created enough pain for 1 year.
All right. Do we need to take any audience comments?
I think you should.
Okay, let's open up for audience comments, please. City Clerk. I believe we have Ms. Resnicki who would like to say a word.
Thank you. And this is for the public. At first, I do think Andrew's City Attorney Dickman's suggestion of having somebody on staff is a good idea, whether it's a legal accountant, for people to be able to talk to them and know truly what it is that you need to fill out.
I agree.
because all of you sitting up there wanting to step, well, I'm gonna say all, but a good 4 that want to step down is not giving people a desire to want to serve up here. I, for one, believe that people need to take a stand, if you want to call it against the state for what they're trying to do, or if what we think is what they're trying to do. It's not for us to step down. There has to be a way to be able to fill out this form. I'm not sure exactly what it entails. I'm willing to do it. But it's because I believe when there is a reach, that people do need to step in. Because, you know, things will look really different, and we don't want it to be different. We want it to stay in our city, not at the state level. And I want people to hear that. Don't be scared to want to do something for the people here, when maybe what we need is somebody professional to come in here and explain to the people exactly what it is that we have to fill out. Because I also saw those trainings. Maybe we could ask the future potential candidates what they've had to fill out, what it entailed. I haven't had to fill it out yet, so I don't really know. And there's too much hearsay versus really truly knowing what it is that we're disclosing. So I do believe in having things personal. I have a personal life, I have a husband too, and I don't think it's everybody's business, and I'll just be blunt about it, about what I own. So again, don't fear it, because we should be more fearful of losing what we have. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Betty.
I would like to, and I respect what she just said, but I just want to be kind of clear about my position. I don't have a choice. So I've seen elected officials resign before. I always thought that's not me. I'll never resign. I mean, people that know me, I'm more of a fighter. When the things get tough, I get tougher. I do things based on my principles. This is not my principles. This is not me being scared. This is not me backing down. This is not giving me a chance. And, you know, my wife was pretty clear that she's not happy about this. But it's more my corporation, and I'm the president of my corporation. So this, I don't know if it just wasn't thought through at state level or not, but I do not have a choice. So I just wanted to make that clear. This is not my personal decision. This is a decision that was made for me. And I'm not really happy about it, in case you can kind of tell in my voice. You know, I've served 32 years. 32 years continuously with the city. More than half my life. And all I wanted to do is serve till March. Misses 5 meetings. And I'll have a whole lot more to say before I step down, but I don't want to kind of make this meeting long. We've got a lot of people to thank, the citizens and a lot of people. 10 elections, you know, I love this place. I'll continue to love this place. I'll continue to be a resident. Family goes 4 generations. It's just kind of sad, to tell you the truth. But my mindset was more really kind of starting last Tuesday is how to solve the issue to keep this government running for the city that we love. And so, to me, that's where my energy is going right now. And all of us seem to be in lockstep with that, so, which I appreciate.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, do we have any other questions, comments, discussion? In that case, we are adjourned.
Thank you.